year off and see what it comes back and so we actually bought this. It's fine.
Yeah.
We bought this to replace our restaurant. So we wanted to start using this because it's sustainable. It's no energy and it's a little harder than I anticipated about this. We're like, we want it to be, you know, like off-grid kind of thing, and they're like, well, that's propane.
Yeah. But we call it a hybrid.
Well, you want to head up there?
Sure.
All right. It gets your breathing going, so if you're going to be doing any talking, you'll have to wait a second.
Okay. Luther here with the Big Blue Sun Museum of Solar Cooking, based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because there's a Minneapolis here.
Yes.
You have a Mankato here too. We
Yes.
got a Mankato. There's a bunch. Anyway, I passed through a town called Newark. It's far from Newark, New Jersey, but anyway, I'm here with Susan Shook in beautiful, I was going to say Hendrickson. Why can't I get it right?
Kensington.
Kensington, Kansas, in an almost undisclosed location. I heard from several other people who had a little trouble finding it, but once you saw the teepee and the villager, there was no doubt this event that Susan and her husband have put together is going full blast. Well, as full blast as it can be.
Yep.
Perfect day for it. Look at that sun. So my questions are always, how did you get into solar energy in any way, shape, or form to begin with? And then how did you get to solar cooking? And how did you get to this event? I guess we'll put them on road to begin with.
Okay, so my daughter was in 3rd or 4th grade maybe, and went to science camp, and she came back and told us that, did you know you can cook with the sun? And my husband said, no, you can't. And she said, yes, you can. And so she's like, I'll show you. And he fell in love with it. And so he made a little one, and then he made a bigger box one, and they had made hot dogs at science camp, and we put, I think it was maybe a pork butt or something in a box to see. We went big.
Yeah.
And it worked, and we're like, wow. So he ended up building a bigger one and built some little prototypes and several different things, and so then we had one for a while until we moved here to Kansas from Colorado, and he gave that one to his sister, and we got one of the hot pots.
Sure.
And we loved that one. So we used that for several years, and then we got the Go Sun. Or no, I'm sorry. We got the Sun Oven.
Sure.
And then we got the other little box one. Whatever, I don't know what the name of it is. It's a knockoff of the
right. Yeah,
there's
50 different outfits that have done variations on that theme. Yeah.
But this one here, the Big Villager, before we even moved from Colorado, we found out about one and for sale, so a used one down in southern Colorado, or maybe New Mexico even, and at the time we were too poor to afford it, so we couldn't afford it, and well, the price went up significantly, and we were like, well, we want one of these, and we were able to come into a little bit of money, and we said, well, it's the very first thing that we're purchasing. Let's do it. We've wanted it for so long. So my husband hounded the new owner day in and day out, over and over and over, until we got one.
Yes.
And he said, please stop. Please stop bothering me. And so we actually bought this. We purchased it as a mobile unit, as far as to be able to feed our community.
Sure.
And make a business out of it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's hard to do all the time, so.
Yeah. When more and more cooker makers are deciding to go hybrid like this is, where you can do the gas thing, so you can cook anytime if you want. But understandably, that hybrid sometimes means burning more food and deforesting a little bit.
Yeah. And
maybe gas, which we won't go into that because you'll get me started. Well, no, I get myself started. But no, well, so cool. And you had a pizza place.
Yeah,
right?
We had a wood-fired pizza place for 6.5 years, and it just got to be, we were too busy.
Sure.
It was just the two of us. Our kids moved on, and the products that we were getting were not up to our standards, and we wanted to be able to do something a little more sustainable, and this was our idea.
Sure.
And so it's been, we're trying recipes, and it's been so much fun just cooking different things, and like, ooh, what can we put in there? Let's put this in. Let's try this. Let's try this. And we tried some pizzas. It's not we have to mess with the recipe a little bit. And so in the meantime, we get to try lots of pizza.
Oh, yes. Hey, there's the upside to the R&D,
Yes.
right? Oh, wow.
And so as far as this group, this gathering was a bunch of people who have different abilities. And we said, hey, we'll cook in an oven. We've got the world's largest oven. And so we did.
There you go. Oh, man.
Then a lot of these people hadn't really they've heard of solar cooking, but they didn't know
Sure.
what it was, you know, like what it entailed. How do you do it?
Yeah.
You know, and our number one question is, what about when it's cold?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or rain comes in or what have you.
Yep.
Then you just revert to form.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the oven, the Villager, of course, special place in my heart because I've been collecting them forever. And I started a spreadsheet maybe about 5 years ago where that was gotta have, can't find. And then finally, I interviewed John LaLiberte there in Yacas, Oregon. Was able to procure it. Same deal, inheritance. Thank you, Aunt Ruth. And he told the story, talking about finally just saying, we just got to do it. That he and his wife talked about getting it because it was maybe 14,000 or something back then. And he said, well, my rationale is every guy has got to have a boat. This is your boat. So you get it. You get it.
Good for him.
Yes. And they didn't regret it. And she drove all over Oregon promoting stuff. Susan Newstetter was her name. And just the size of it, I call it a monument now. It's like really a monument at the State Fair, Minnesota State Fair. People say, I saw all the way from O'Gara's, which is this Irish bar that has a little thing just for the fair for 12 days, right off one of the main entrances. It's a good 5-6 blocks away. And they looked up and they said, what the hell is that? You
Gotta go figure that out.
It says a satellite dish, and they get up there, and then they get, of course, close, and I've got it focused, and they tip over, and oh man, and then they smell the cookies.
Yeah.
And I spread out like some of these other cookers. These are basically the ones I put out alongside it on the trailer. But well, cool. So that's kind of future plans. The idea to see if you can make pizzas work in there, maybe branch out to other foods. Or?
Yeah, we'd really like to do things that farm to table. I love
Sure.
that. I love the concept, and not necessarily my farm.
Right.
The communities, people that are in our community that have an abundance of vegetables and things that we can do this with, because the global chain isn't.
Yeah.
It's so hard these days to even get anything, and it's like, is the quality what it used to be? No, I really don't think so. So I'd like to get more hands-on, get our food back to where it's supposed to be, and feed people good, healthy food. So that's really what the whole idea of this was, is just to get it back to here into our community, and hoping that that'll work.
Sure. Well, I'm going to twist aside. We got enough of the shots of that. I'm going to turn this around too. So I always try to have at least two cameras on what I'm doing, in case one goes bad or the battery dies out or whatever. And so besides, this is the GoPro it's up there. So let's see. I think we'll either step back a little further or that should work. Yeah, that should work. That's real wide angle. I mean, it was getting from like there to there, just poking over the roof. So do you see yourself as like part of the solar cooking movement, or is this kind of like, boy, it's going to work for me, or what are your thoughts about that?
I really do think that we are part of it. We are just so excited about all the different varieties of it. And as I was telling you earlier, we were invited to go talk to some grade school kids, 4th grade, and the excitement that they had fed us. Like, that was like,
Sure.
we influenced the younger generation, and that's going to stick with them. And maybe not all of them will use it, but somebody will, maybe even just one of them.
Yep.
And that's going to continue on with that, and I think everybody really should learn to cook with the sun.
Yes.
It's available to us.
And do it now before you're going to have to. You're going to have to,
know how to do it before you have to. Yes.
Yes. One of my, Sarah Mitchell in Utah, we're LDS church. They're way into prepping, and she's big into solar cooking. And all her neighbors have cookers, but she says, power goes out. They come to me and ask, how do I use this thing?
Yeah.
And she says, if you just use it every day, nothing is an emergency.
There you go. Yes.
What disaster preparedness? This is a disaster. Oh, your electricity's out. I'm sorry. Would you like some of my dried tomatoes for my solar dryer?
Yeah. So we use solar. We camp a lot. All of our campers are set up with solar on them.
Sure.
This house that we live in is passive solar, so it is also heated and cooled by the placement of the sun.
Yep.
We want to convert this into more of an off-grid, use more solar panels, wind generation, and things of that nature. And I mean, the sun is an amazing thing.
What do they say? It's a kilowatt per meter squared or something of pure energy. Panels are like 20% of that. We've got 6 kilowatts on our roof. It's 22 panels. It's probably from about there to halfway across the roof. I mean, so that's not. This is the most efficient.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's almost pure direct.
You don't need anything
thermal.
with it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh man. Boy, well, I can't think of anything else. Do you have any thoughts on the future or how to? I mean, you're promoting it through this event, which is I think is perfect because it's that one-on-one, very personal. You can testify. Here's what I've been doing with it. Here's how it works. It's not rocket science. For myself, people will say, well, you know, if you can't cook something on it, and I'll go, well, you know, how many different cookers do you have in your kitchen?
Right.
You've got an oven, and on top of that is a gas range. That's a different cooker. That's not one cooker. What's
and you
on
got your
the microwave on top?
Yep.
What's I counted like
cookers,
7. Yeah, per crock pot, toaster oven, and how many people? Of course, they got the 6-burner gas stove, barbecue grill on the outside. So I say you do the same things. It's just then you just pick the appropriate cooker.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we have all this, and we also have smokers and wood-fired ovens, and
yes.
But part of this was my husband has cut wood and split wood and burned wood. We've done it for 10 years with the wood-fired oven, and that's a lot of trees.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So this you don't have to do any of that, and we just love the simplicity of it. And I have found that there's 2 types of people: the ones that cannot shy away from asking you what the hell is that thing, and the others that are like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Change bad.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that the flavor is different as well. I really think that the flavor of the sun-cooked food is much better. You can taste the sun.
Everyone I've talked to has said that. Joe Radabaugh, one of the best books on solar cooking, Heaven's Flame. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I have not.
That's one of the first things he says is he talked to friends of his who are chefs. And they say, just like the sous vide thing we were talking about earlier, they say the lower the heat, the slower that you cook, the longer the temperature, the better it's going to taste. Because all the stuff, that's all natural stuff. You cook it a little too fast, that protein is going to break down into gunk. It's going to break down to taste at the right speed, And everyone I've talked to, same thing. There's one guy who says, well, I think it's just because, you could do that with a slow cooker, electrical or gas, whatever. It's nothing like spiritual. And it's like, well,
my husband cooks all the time. I'm not the cook, he is.
Okay.
But there is a difference. There is a big difference, and I just love it. I love going outside in the winter day and smelling it. Yeah. And there's just nothing like it.
Well, and I was going to ask about the wood fire. I mean, what do you do with the ash? Is that like do you repurpose it, or does it?
I use it on some garden stuff.
Sure.
I have friends who raise chickens, and they use it for like the ash. They put ash on them to keep away fleas and mites.
Oh,
and
sure.
Mostly it ends up in my garden, in my yard, and stuff like that. But that was a big thing too. It's like, where do we put all this waste? 6.5 years. A big ash pile.
But at the end of the day, all the stuff we're cooking out here, we have to sweep up all those little sun dregs, right?
Yeah.
No.
Just eat and you're done.
I think, and we had an exchange on Facebook. I mentioned Susan Regali in Los Angeles, where she's having a dickens of a time having them let her use that to cook for her restaurant. She has a restaurant. They don't mind for her catering because apparently, since that's a private event, they don't care if she poisons. If they think she's going to be poisoned poisoning people because they think it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, and she'd ask them, well, what's the roadblock? And I said, well, how do we test for emissions? Come here and smell.
Oh my gosh.
See if you pass out. Bring the same meters you bring into the, I don't know, KD Chang's or whatever, the Asian restaurant where they got the gas wok thing going.
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud. Well, probably California and New York City, they're banning new construction with gas for heat and everything.
Wow.
For cooking, so it's because they finally, it's coming out, the pollution, the indoor pollution from that. We never worry about it in our fixer-upper because it's such a drafty old house. It's like it's not building up, but who knows?
Yeah.
Is that something you're looking into? We don't have to even keep this in, but is Kansas like a state that's pretty agreeable to this kind of stuff, or are there?
I don't think that there's many codes or anything, that there's nothing that we really need to concern ourselves with, as far as I know. Like, you can build any type of house. Like, we can do whatever we want on this property, and there's not very many places left that you can do that.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that brought us back here, is the fact that we could do that. People have really embraced it. We were not sure what to think when we first bought it, and people really think it's pretty cool. And it's like, wow, this is in our community.
Yes.
And so a big part of it was too, if ever the grid goes down, whether you're a prepper or concerned about anything like that, there is a possibility that you have a storm, takes down a power line. What's going to happen to everybody's fridges and freezers?
Exactly.
It's going to need to be something done. Well, that's money in our pocket too, because we can cook for people. And the kickback is we get food.
Yes.
We'll cook for you, but feed us.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of our thing. That whole barter and trade system is back, and I think every community should invest in one.
Yes.
For just that case, because we've all had power outages, we've all had natural disasters or whatever it may be, and so it would be a great addition to every community, I think. It would be a great, and whether they ever use it or not.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you?
Oh, exactly. Well, that was another thing Joe Radabaugh mentions is, you got a garden? Well, cook while you're gardening.
Oh, yeah.
Then you only have to walk this far. You have to go inside a really hot kitchen, and you put your stuff from your garden right into it.
We do that all the time. I take it out in my garden. I'll go out. I'll pick beets and onions and garlic and whatever I have that's ripe. We'll go out and pick it, and it goes into a pot, ratatouille or stew or
there you go.
Whatever.
Yeah. Now, how far does your property go? Is it like to the tent over there, and then?
So my property line goes over to the trees. These trees all the way over to those trees, and that road.
Oh wow.
All the way
Okay.
back in where.
Oh nice. Okay. Oh yeah.
The shop is ours, and so.
Oh, you got. Oh man.
So you said something about getting together, having a bunch of people get together, and boy, would that be fun.
Yeah.
You'd have to try to manipulate weather or something. I don't know.
Well, it's like I say, that Brigadoon clause, it helps because people, like the one time someone said, man, short notice. And I said, well, read the clause and get back to me. And they got back to me, oh, okay, I get it. And they've been to a bunch of them because they just say, okay, if they got something tentative on Saturday, and now that I'm retired, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it. If it's Tuesday, I'll call it on Thursday,
Yeah. So,
and 2 people show up. We've had as few as 2 and as many as I think we had up to 20. We're like 5 or 10 at a time and like 20 total. So it's 20 more people that know what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a huge movement, Doug and Stacy. They have really kind of pushed this momentum pretty good. I think they're really helping go the Sun Oven.
And do they have the Villager too, or did they just have it?
They don't have it. They had
Did Paul Munson come out?
They did.
Yeah, because I saw that video. Yeah.
Yep. So when we saw they had it, we're like, I messaged them right away. I'm like, hey, guess what? I have one of those.
Yeah.
Like, can we meet? I never heard back, but
I think I did. A lot of people on YouTube were really cards close to the chest where you can't find them.
Yeah.
But this won't end up in there because I did interview Frugal Green Girl. Have you heard of her? She's in Loveland, Colorado, and no clues as to where she is, except she says once, she says Colorado. But she's got this wall or window insert cooker that's made from used greenhouse glass. She built a greenhouse, she had scraps, I got to use some. There's going to be a room heater, a little extra, you know, a little solar thermal addition, and she hangs up, heats the room nice. She closes the window with the screen closed. Next morning, she's waking up by about 10 o'clock. She's smelling this awful plastic stench. What was the nylon screen melted? Oh, no. So she says, that means it could probably cook too. So she rigged it up with for heating it, she just spray painted barbecue paint on a sheet of metal. I think it's just a big aluminum, like a pie cover thing or casserole cover. And she just flipped it over for reflective, put a cooling rack and pots of, you know, beans, lentils, quinoa, whatever, mostly vegetarian with some meat, and cook for her daughters. And she has her daughters actually test it. Yeah, this is great. And she's cooking with it. So I'm going, well, I got to get that for my own window because I want, it's unique. I've never seen another one like it. And I'm trying to find her. And I finally find out she had an Instagram account also. Frugal Green Girl. Okay, well, I start going through photos, and like 200 photos later, I'm going, I'll never find out. All of a sudden, there's hey, congratulate me, I just got my real estate license. And there's a license, state of Colorado, and her first name, Tawny, T-A-W-N-Y, which is not real common, and then last name taped over. I'm thinking, nice try. She got a real estate license. I found out like an hour later. And got her number and email. But, you know, that could maybe freak her out, you know.
Right.
But I finally, before my August road trip, I just called her up about 5 days before, and I said, I hope I'm talking to the Frugal Green Girl. And she said, oh, wow, how'd you find me? I said, well, you know, I'm a solar cook, and you have this great cooker, and I'd like to talk to you. Well, I have to think about it. And I said, look, I wanted to name you. I won't even say where we are. Meet at an undisclosed location, and so she did. We did a park in Loveland, Colorado. Okay. Really nice. You know, just really brief because her video about the cooker is really thorough. It's not like I could add to it. And she was going to let me do little snippets from that to insert as she's talking. Anyway, what was the point of that story? Oh, so the YouTube people, yeah, Doug and Stacy, you know, they probably could be found a little easier, maybe.
Yeah, my husband did that with. We like Volkswagens. As
sure.
You can't tell. We have a Volkswagen Bug in our.
I was gonna later. We'll ask you about the Westphalia because that's like Joe is bugging me. Well, now that I'm retired and she's got about a year, you know, she wants to camp, but we're done with tents. We're getting up and how many things are cracking.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that looks like the dream thing. That she would love something like that.
Yeah.
Her grandfather actually took just a Ford Econoline van and tricked it out back in the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
that whole movement's coming back too. You know, that was a thing. It's like 70s. You know, it used to be like living in the van down by the river was a bad thing, and now it's like everybody wants to do it.
Well, and for me, I do these road trips, and it'll be 500 miles between the people I video. So how many, you know, 80, $100 just to go and gas.
Oh man.
And so I'm thinking, well, and then after COVID, I thought, you know, I'm going to try to streamline, and the Buick has, it's just a 2-foot by 6-foot plywood thing hinged that just put over the right 2 seats, and then just a real thin air mattress, and I'm good to go. Last night I got down below freezing. I had that extra blanket. That was enough.
Thank goodness.
Good sleeping weather, right? I mean, the cold air.
My daughter actually spent the night in that one last night.
Oh, sure.
I've taken this one out. We bought this one. Volkswagens are.
You gotta love them.
Yeah, you have to love them. And so he bought me this one so that I would be. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think it's Oh, the card's full. Oh, that's okay. We're pretty much. I've got pretty much everything.
Okay.
This one should be still going. It is still going. Whew. That one said it had an hour left. So.
Got this one so that I could kind of venture out on my own and be a little bit more secure. So this one's actually been remodeled, converted. It's got a Ford engine in it.
Okay.
So it goes fast. You can go down the interstate at a regular pace.
Yep.
It's a little less finicky.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my dad was a pastor in Skinflint in Bowling Green, Ohio. He picked up a 1967 Volkswagen microbus. So 6 of us kids, and then it was just perfect for us. And he said, I'm going to learn how to fix that. And he gets that. Have you seen the book, How to Fix Your Volkswagen for the Complete Idiot?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, yeah, it's a classic. It's literature, you know. I mean, I read it. I'm never going to fix a car, but boy, the one book, I didn't bring it. I should get you a copy, or you could find it. It's called Manifold Destiny. Have you heard of it? It's a guy who, like in the 70s or whatever, said, well, you know, he always heard about an uncle who was a cross-country trucker and how he put a pot in the engine thing and cook with it while he's driving. And he thought, well, and everywhere he turned, someone said, oh, well, I know a guy. And so he said, well, let's write a book about it. So he does. He's got recipes where it isn't temperature and how long you cook it. It's how much and how many miles you have to drive.
That's funny.
And it's
Manifold Destiny.
Manifold Destiny, because you're cooking on the manifold.
Very nice.
And the guy is just one of these great writers. It's just every page. It's funny, but to the point. How to do it safely, so you know your pastrami doesn't end up all over the road and all over your engine, that kind of stuff.
My husband actually. What's funny is Yachats, Oregon, is one of our favorite places.
Oh well,
Love
that part of the country is top.
We just 5 years ago spent 30 days out on the Oregon in Yachats, Oregon coast, tent camping. 5 people, my daughter, my 2 daughters, us, and my nephew, and it was in Yachats, Oregon.
Yeah.
We love it, and so. When we saw that there was one of these villagers there, we're like, what? We walked all over that place, you know. And
he had it in his barn because after his wife passed away, he kind of mothballed it. Yeah, he said he loved doing it, helping her out with it, but it was her project. It was her thing. They were both worked for I think the United States Forestry Division or something, just like upper scale management or something. So they got a property that's to die for, you know, for 4 or 5 outbuilding things, and so. Oops. But anyway, what a great guy. And the boat story, I mean, that just kills me. You're right. You know, everyone I know, someone gets a boat.
That's right.
And that's his, and him passing and dropping the patriarchy and saying,
there you go.
So this is your boat.
So my husband, back in the early 90s, he would go back and forth to Oregon, and that's how he cooked. He cooked right on the manifold. And
oh, you'll love this book. Yeah. And it's you know, that alternative. I thought about doing it because I spent so much time between, but I also figured, you know, I already got one plate of what could be a dual pane cooker thing with the windshield, and I've actually figured, just sitting there driving, that, you know, I could fit one in there and it wouldn't obstruct my view. So it's not like a trooper could pull me over and say,
right. Has anyone come up with anything?
No, but it's, well, who knows, you know. And it's
mine.
When it'd be like Manifold Destiny, it's like, okay, will it work in a 89 Torino as well as this, you know, because all the windshield angles, all different. Yeah. But they're all going to be good though, because most of them, the hoods, they figured out aerodynamically, it just makes sense. And so there's really, and then yourself, when you're looking down, you're just seeing most of the dashboard. Well, put something there that's going to cook.
So my sister-in-law, she's also very much into solar cooking, does it maybe even more than we do.
Well,
she was a librarian, and so one day she got one of those, just the car shades, and kind of wedged it in up under her, on her dash, and put a pot in there, and she put stuff for soup in there.
Yeah.
And so she was there all day, it cooked all day. So when she left at night, she got to take her food home with her.
Sure.
Everybody's like, oh, Tammy, what are you making? What are you doing? What are you doing now? And
well, here, have a sip. Have a
try
spoon.
it.
Yeah. Pour you a bowl.
So we're actually from Colorado, around the Loveland area.
Sure.
And back in, I don't even know what year it was, there was a sustainability fair in Fort Collins, and we got to see, I don't even remember which kind of oven it was at this point, but there was they were cooking with brownies in the sun, and we're like, what? It was kind of all at the same time. My daughter taught us about it,
sure.
And so she gets the credit.
Yes.
You know, she came home and told us about it, and and then it just kept going and going and going, and here we are. That's been probably 15 years ago, and it's like, you know, we just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't know, it's going to be bigger than this.
You can get a Scheffler, which is taller, but it's specifically for restaurants. So if you've seen, once I get it up, you'll see it, the Marseille Le Presage restaurant.
Yeah, I think you were telling me about it. Yep.
And that's meant for, he has it set up so it hits the bottom of just a big griddle, big just cast iron griddle, maybe 3 foot by 5 feet. And then the one center part where the reflection comes up, that's where everything gets boiled. So they get the humongous stock pot type thing right next to it. They can fry, and then as you go further out, you're browning something, or you're just keeping something warm.
Wow.
Just like your greasy spoon griddle, you know. So but I don't know if you could call that bigger. It's not. I think it's probably lighter because it's almost all reflectors. But anyway. Speaking about kids, I had the Simplicity out at a rest stop because I'm going to take about a half hour, and it's just ramen or something, you know. But mother walks by with her daughter. Her daughter can't be 6, 7 years old. Look, Mom, a solar cooker.
Wow.
And the mom says, "No, I don't think so." And I said, "No, your daughter's right.
She's correct.
You want some ramen later in?" Well, you know. And it's, again, like the people are like, "I don't know," you know. Yeah. And the daughter's like smiling back. Okay, yeah. I go, am I going to start an argument here? but they get it. They get it. You know, they don't need arm twisting. Mm-hmm. I mean, the part of the wonder of it is part of it.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to have all kinds of food here in a moment.
Well, and we could check on some stuff down there because we got probably 3 things in the. We got 2 in the 2 Haynes going, and the Sport Solar Society Sport. You got the Sun Oven, the vacuum tube, the nameless vacuum tube, anonymous vacuum tube. I haven't put anything in the Simplicity yet, but let's see. And you can keep that here too. I'll come back to get it. And the 1 Haynes you get to keep.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. I mean, it's one of those where, like, the cookers I brought along, they're kind of like the calling cards. Like the Go Sun, it's maybe not their best of the vacuum tube cookers, but it's the best insofar as it's totally solar energy because of the solar panels and the battery rather than propane. The Haynes, best panel cooker, period. Sport. And the Simplicity, I mean, if you're going to buy, the next one you're going to buy, get the Simplicity. It's never going to go out because it's very popular in France. He says the sales will get down like 1 or 2 a week or something. But he's like retired from, you know, in France they can retire at like 43 or whatever. Right. Whatever he did. That's retiring from being a mime. You know, like, is that like really retirement? Anyway, well, let's check out on the food.
Okay, let's do it. I'll have Mark come over and open up this one because I'm always the way that these are. Yeah, I burn myself all the time.
Oh yeah,
but I've gotten I've gotten smarter, and it really does help if you lower it.
Yeah, lower it first,
and then open it because your heat doesn't go right up out the window.
Yeah,
or out the door.
Yeah. Oh. And the door is probably as heavy. It's probably heavier because it is. I'm sure it's bigger than mine because mine maybe goes 2/3 in the middle. So there's almost as much space on the sides as the door itself, whereas yours goes almost to the edge, which I do like. But that also, it's going to be heavier.
It is heavy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
And there's a few design things like they stuck it so close together. You have to have something wedge it open almost because it like catches when it expands, you know, when it gets hot and expands. So the door catches. You have to like put a little spatula in there and wedge it open. And it's like, oh man, for as much as we paid for it, we were a little bit discouraged in the beginning, but now it's like, you know what, those are all things that we can handle. We can take care of that. We're not finally convinced him that it was time for us to get one. The deal was he had an order for, I think, 200 of them. Right. That were getting ready to go overseas. So he's like, if you want one, you get it now or you wait 2 years. Yeah. And we're like, now. Yes. Let's get this going. Yeah.
Well, you need chocks and pitons and climbing ropes.
I'm a big kid at heart. This is my sledding hill.
Oh, yeah. You should charge kids.
My neighbors probably think I'm a bit insane, but that's okay. I might be.
Oops. I'll go grab them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of junk to strap on.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Put a couple in and then we'll check.
I can smell it. Ooh, look at that steam.
Oh man. See, that should be good on this because it's still running.
So those are beans. Look at them boiling away in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you put beans in there? Oh, I put more in.
No.
Green chili.
Oh, man.
Green chili.
What time do you want to eat, Mark? Nobody ate lunch until almost 2.
Well, I was thinking about 5 is when everything be ready.
What about that lasagna? What time is it?
4.
Do you want it?
If we have room, I'm gonna put 3 more pans in. Look at all your bacon.
I can take it in the oven in the kitchen. Well,
We got room in here. I mean, we can get some, but I got.
there you go.
No, we will have room. But yeah, I mean, I can lean over the edge. Those are good potatoes.
Sure.
Right.
There is so much food. Oh, that's a
Check
big
on the
one.
eggs. The eggs have been at least an hour.
What I might do is stack this one.
There's. That's a big old lasagna.
Yeah, that thing's a monster. Let's get it.
They can hang over probably a little too. You can
Oh, no.
put your. That's good because I was wondering. I don't always have the cardboard,
Yeah.
but you can just put something right over top. Just that
Yeah.
looks like just brown paper.
Yep, that's just I had an extra paper bag, and so I just tore it up to make sure it's covering it all. And that's the pot that comes with the simplicity. They call it the mini paella pan because it starts round, but then it flattens real quick.
Have you made paella in it?
Not in that. Yeah, I've made it in the SK14, where I have the pot a little lower because otherwise the focal point's like that. You'd have charred rice and not done rice, but you lower it down and then it browns most of it.
So I was just told you don't want to use that cup.
Oh yeah, I just emptied your. Is that your dog?
No, it wasn't mine.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure it's. They say dogs actually, like they can lick your wounds and you won't really generally have to worry, right?
They're like supposed to have to feel
Yep.
properly.
Whereas cats, not so much.
Yeah.
What we got going on? I'm gonna attempt the lasagna first.
That is a hazard. It's no different hazard than a regular oven. The steam comes flying out, you know.
Don't burn yourself.
Yeah. Pretty hot.
Looks pretty hot. Oh, I'll have to crank it back up. I have plenty of burns already from this.
Yeah.
You probably have the same scars.
I do have to say, I way like the wider door.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is, like I say, maybe 2/3 that width.
Give myself a little more clearance there.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
Do you believe in oven gloves that come up to here?
I have some, but no, I never use them.
Okay. I'm just curious.
I like to live dangerously. So
Well,
rice.
you can see the rice is just
Have you,
Picture
Did you
perfect.
see his oven that he cooked pizza in? Yeah, it's
That's just veggies, just
oh yeah.
onions and peppers.
jeepers creepers. Look
Big pot of beans.
That's why they call it a villager. It'll feed a village.
at golly.
Is that leftover soup from last night?
No, these are different beans that I just soaked and cooked.
I guess it'll be a surprise when I see it in the spring.
Careful.
Yeah.
Green chili.
Rosie's flowers.
This is what?
Oh,
Green chili.
still bubbling.
Is it green chili soup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pork green chili. So we have, pork green chili, rice, beans, veggies, lasagna, and those are potatoes. And I'll probably have to get a second mitt to get this out of here.
I had a colleague in the theater department at U of M, Barth Ward, who lost the inner part of his lip from chewed tobacco. And his doctor said, "You're damn lucky that we didn't have to take out the whole lip." Quit cold turkey everything, smoking anything. And he was in the TV production, ran into like 10 years later. And I know people where they've had surgery and now the colors, they can't speak quite as clear, but he says totally healed, no going back. You made the right choice.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I had a bridge put in about a month ago and had my teeth cleaned, and she said, "Do you chew?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Did you used to chew?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "I could tell." Like, that's unnerving. 25 years.
Oh man, yeah.
Very unnerving.
One of the worst news stories to come out was researchers have found out that the liver can actually heal from drinking too much.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, damn, you don't want to tell anyone.
I'm 8 years sober now.
That's good choices. Did you get by without any of that stuff?
That's the money, just the money alone, for goodness sake. Oh, that's spending like crap.
Yeah. Well, and this is. I wonder if this is.
So the beans are not seasoned. So
Oh, the sun. Oh, that's beautiful. Perfect.
Went through here, they're just plugs. So if you look up here, you can see the threads for the ready rod. That makes more sense.
Yep.
No. Otherwise, how many different angles you have to bring up just to get that.
Well, look at that one too.
But you've got that curvature, there's no way you can do it, so you quarter-inch ready rod. Couple ones using the way you go.
Make
I would have brought him a lamb.
Yeah. But she said she thought she spent like $45 a piece for these. And I'm sure they're in the $50, $60 range.
Just letting you know.
I would think easy, but
I don't want people to steal their lives.
yeah, just out of fine boards.
Several different places to try
Well,
to
we
find
can get really fancy and bring higher quality to the pines
an assortment of salt.
really light.
Yeah, fairly light.
We could make it out of Osage orange. You can get truck dollar.
That's,
That was my dad, who was a real foodie, and when he passed away, grabbed the salt, brought it
look,
home.
Yeah.
get some nice
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
grain
good
wood.
salt in there.
Holy smoke.
We do a lot of pink
Yeah,
Himalayan.
no, it's my butt.
Florida Cell is my favorite. Flower of the sea from France. That's where I get my barbecue from.
Right up the backbone. You have your butterfly.
Well, is this company still in existence? Mark, is this company still in existence?
I'm not sure, I haven't checked.
16 pieces of wood,
Gotta send for resale.
Take a picture and yeah, check it out.
4 pieces of ready rod.
I can't believe the bugs coming out also. They know when the food comes out, don't they?
When the wind died down, sometimes the right timing of gusts.
Yeah, we had a little raise now.
because of the iodine.
It's a beautiful day though. It's salt actually made in a vat. Never asked for wind or
These two right here.
sodium. Don't have that But luckily, that little oasis here, I've got the trees on this side, the house on one side. This is coming out of the way.
Where these have the minerals to it.
Same thing with that.
That's what you need in order to body.
What about the difference between
I'm just trying to think of an easy way to do it.
I was say I have
Go to
Celtic
the
salt
sea.
in there too. Yeah, and Himalayan.
Now you got something
So what
different,
is the
but this
difference?
board and
I'm
this
not
board.
sure.
Different regions, they all have different content of minerals.
So
I
that's
think
why
Himalayan
you
has
stop.
like 84 minerals, something like that. And
Yeah,
then
right
the
on
Celtic
the-
supposedly
these
is
two,
supposed to help
these
you.
those are
hydrate.
backwards.
So a little kick of Celtics before you drink your water to help absorb it.
I think if a guy
Okay, that's
made
what I
one or
heard.
two
People
of
put
them
a
after that,
pinch
you
of
can
salt
almost
in their
put
water.
it in production.
To help your body absorb it.
Yeah.
makes you more hydrated.
Remember that.
They say most people are dehydrated.
Yeah, they use these in
Headaches even.
the buckskiners and mountain man shows and stuff like that. I bought
So
that stuff off
the
front.
timing is different.
But it's like,
As far
they
as
know what
Cooking
stuff's
with the
about.
sun.
Yeah.
well, you
Throw
know,
a
I
nice
can
piece of leather like this on there, oh boy.
I want it actually to cook.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you cut in front of me if you want.
The rice I put in an hour before it was ready to eat. Maybe a little over there. And the pepper.
Yeah, the cheese is, not the cheese, the rice.
Yeah, they're
See,
not-
the rice was overdone. It should have been about 30 minutes.
We're experiments, folks.
Grabbed it
Guinea
when
pigs.
Relaxing.
Yes.
They can eat it.
What were you thinking?
I know. How dare I?
Yes, how dare you? I want to try some of the salad.
And yeah, there's no salt on the beans at all. So they're gonna need seasoning.
We got the pico for it.
Huh?
We got the pico for it.
That's right.
Are we gonna make it number 4?
Don't forget what we're doing. It's so easy to get sidetracked. You walk in, hey Susan, where's your? They don't care, I'm gonna be.
Come on. There.
I just ended up using that thing.
Persian blue diamond.
Can't go wrong with that.
You like these?
Probably from Iran. It's funny because I did the barbecue competitions and there was a finishing called fleur. It was hit. Well, I started to finish all my barbecue. French hand harvested sea salt and flour.
Oh my gosh, this one is so smoky.
Then we used to wear the salt at home. She was
Come on, the flavor.
dinners. Funny to find this hand harvested French sea salt. They're like, no, we have salt.
Oh my gosh.
She was pretty proud of herself. That's what we use, the best salt.
Don't stand around and,
Scrambled even better.
It's broken, all right.
Well, I need to get some of this other salt that's not.
Right, making sure she's still alive and well. She went off to the wilderness. I'm impressed.
Sitting by yourself?
I know that much fragrance over there is going to draw the bugs.
Okay. Yeah, you can. That's an oldie.
don't use it right in your china cabinet.
Yeah. I have a rule in my life. Use all things.
They're used to
Yeah,
it in the
it's-
3/4 cup.
Cast and stuff like that. Brothers are using one. Any of the hurricane ramps, and I took
I love it. Frozen man.
the next thing I did with it was I started making configurations. I take the glass off.
That beats the $1,200 for
It was like you get like your hot water heater, roll it up, and I'd stick that on the top, and then I'd light it up just to see how much heat was radiating off of it. I tried doing that in a 40 dealership. I got an 8-inch piece, 3-inch diameter tailpipe. That didn't work too good because it was too thick. But just tried all kinds of things. And then finally get on YouTube, not YouTube, that Zoom call thing. I guess somebody see a tailpipe. What's that? We had 5 or 6 candles lit underneath and it's heating up the room.
We had to use one of those before because we lost power and it was middle of winter and that's what we had to use to heat our house.
Yeah.
Thank God we knew that. How to use it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it.
Our neighbor's house, and it was out for a while, a long time. It was full day of the year.
So what's next on your list?
5-7-year-old.
Don't make a difference to me as long as I get there before the bugs do.
That's right. But yeah, they worked pretty effectively.
And I'm always tinkering with stuff like that. Solar stuff.
Go down and stay with that
Oh,
Gary
boy.
Kaczynski, Wednesday
I'll tell you
night.
what, it's a rabbit hole.
Thursday, I'll be in Dallas.
Like everything else.
Everything comes in, it's hard to get back out.
That's right.
Friends from Houston.
How bad it
And I'll stay with her
No,
on
but he knows
Thursday
prison
night.
guys.
Friday, I'll be down in Beeville with my oldest son.
Yeah, the same over there, just
And,
good.
yeah, and there's always, I mean, that's
Everybody have everything they need? Any requests?
Pizza.
Patience, grasshopper, patience. Do you remember the soup Nazi?
Yes, no soup for you.
I have been called the pizza Nazi.
but it's kind of like this.
I'm in trouble with that.
Ask again. Let's see what happens.
The guy that actually has the cars and he brings his motor coat with the matching.
Yeah.
It's always the same.
About 120,000.
Ridge, you know, mechanic shop with that 4x4 in top. So that's the point where like I'm done.
They say to get good at something, you have to do it 3,000 times.
Everybody parks their RVs
Hopefully.
and different things around there. And brings, whatever.
And start to get good. Yeah, after 10,000, you gotta do 10,000 to start to get good. And it's true, even after 100,000, I still learn stuff all the time. After we closed the restaurant, I mourned the pizza. I started researching pizza and looking at flowers and went down the whole rabbit hole. Yeah.
I know.
I'm not sitting on that.
This is the one guy,
That's not a man.
a water that is designed.
Okay.
And he actually recently
A friend's garden that gave him to us, went over and picked them. And it's done over it. These things out of my sight.
While they're here.
I said, I'll see you when we get to the race. Yeah, and we'll get a chance to try and set something up where I can.
And I'll cook with the sun.
That facility is fantastic.
Brought it over made and I just tossed it in. Now I was supposed to pull the tinfoil back and brown the top and I didn't. So undercooked lasagna.
And then I gotta get back to that
Yeah, but it's no good, it's his fault.
It's no good, it's my fault.
house.
And if it's really good, it's my fault.
That guy, his father passed away when he was 6 when he's kind of been had a little process for a couple months. See what comes.
Take it.
Machine sewed ones that won't hold up. So I'll guarantee her hat will still be held in.
We hope that helps.
Whoever you're on.
Ready?
No, but thank you.
Or third cars a lot more.
Anyone else need a napkin?
Please. We get a little bit of.
I forgot mine. So you want one?
It's actually half Carolina Reaper, half Ghost.
Yeah, perfect. I'm good. No, thank you. I'm good.
Not really flavored, just hot.
It's got some garlic in it.
Which one's that?
Yeah, it's still
This
flavored.
Carolina Reaper Ghost that I made. But it's very potent.
What you have in that food item?
No problem there.
I mean, the average person it can be quite a bit high.
These peppers are hot, but they don't last.
Yeah.
First it was
Well, that's right. I figured, you know,
now his dinner's coming
tomorrow when everybody kind of has whatever. Because if I get it together today, I'm going to lose it before it gets to where it needs to be. No, I have that awareness.
It's a nice hot. And maybe it's not mixed.
Somehow.
Your mom will do that.
Yeah.
It's one of those cute ones, the way it's described.
It was the play.
And you go back to the morning, you put it on, and you're like, oh, what have I done?
Mind if I go back home?
Yeah, help yourself.
I have a feeling that later this evening we'll get
I use about
Tomatoes? I know if I was allocating everything,
the lady sitting next to me.
I watch people all the time pop up and say, you know, like, I've ever seen.
Yeah.
it hit me a little something on the second time.
Stairway, however far you want to go.
This isn't going to make it better.
Yeah, I built a couple things recently.
This is coming from a guy who doesn't like tomatoes. Like store-bought tomatoes, he doesn't like.
So we have to take care of it.
How do you both protect it?
Yeah,
Very impressive.
it's a long time, it's a load of food.
Well, we at the time, he
A lot
found
of people go their whole life and there's no way. How do you know until you pop it out?
Yeah, I don't know.
get afraid. Like access to
Well, I had pregnancy talk this weekend.
Just for a minute.
Okay.
Have to do with pink shoes?
I see it.
No.
The way
He's been to a farmer's market.
See, it,
whatever, but
yeah, it looked like it was propped up like a picture frame.
like the whole
Why?
4 months.
I like tomatoes.
And it's got a little caption down at the bottom that says fixing life. I better ask. No, that's the one
But
that.
he had a real tomato down there,
It's almost an insult to pay for sack.
Anyway.
but he really liked tomatoes, real tomatoes.
Real tomatoes.
Is that okay, Joel? You look at something else?
Well, we went from pregnancy to that, so.
They know when you get a tomato and something grows in your belly. That's
And they'll do it. They will yell. They will like it.
I count on the endorphins, which is why why I eat hot. I'm all in it for the end.
You're in it for the hot.
Yep. Food is just a vessel to give me my hot sauce. I get my
Press them together.
Things that I knew
I'm
had
trying to
this
see them. You can't see the
real
granite wood
sugar
on
space.
how you. But they are. I like the way you
Yellow like butter in a gallon jar, and you just took a chunk of that, and it was like
You're not giving any trade secrets.
and that's how they killed hogs. In the meal with
No.
milk or
yogurt, sour cream.
but I've never tried it.
Well, it
So what she's saying is,
I've never tried
well,
it.
it's what's in salsa? It's not directly sugar. Right, it's real, it was real,
and they gluten. Press the gluten.
it was a yellow, kind of powdery, but caked together. And I imagine in where you wash it, you have to go find it. And it would be, you'd have to put that, what they have, sugar that's yellow. Oh, yeah? They were here speaking.
Gary may know.
Yeah, Gary may know completely.
I bet you don't do that again. Was it worth it?
Good for you.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in
Oh, yeah.
Doug, would you have, not right this minute, would you find that like people I don't know where we put it, I don't know where you stored it. You know what I'm talking about?
Looking at some Kanye actually smooth out the
Oh, okay. Well, that's something I could get.
I'm pretty sure that
Joel, would you have your knife from over there, please?
I just had some ghost pepper chili.
That's me. Even my kids, I mean, they grew up with that. Yeah, I started eating
Wait, there's a light, but you're gonna make yours a pan.
Oh, wow.
There's cake also and peanut butter frosting.
You're spicy, but. We got a pepper in the back of my throat for a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why
And all we have to do is find the rosy.
Oh.
You're just in time.
I know.
There's a place right here and we ate the last with the bread with Hey, you're right on time. Got it.
I'm just thinking some of it to see what it's like.
I don't care anymore.
I'm getting discovered on me, that means everybody's getting a little more attack. They're hovering around me, side temple, side temple. Now just move it. Oh, okay.
Quick one?
Yeah,
I buy my temple glasses. They live and my glasses are bad. I get a whack on the head, they fly away, my glasses are missed.
can't see them anymore.
My dad always said the secret to a good dinner party is to starve people. Make them wait. Right before the union's about to happen, you break out all the secrets. Mine did. How's it, Gary?
Oh, yeah. You hang it too high, they won't find you. All right.
How's it, Luther? You good?
Yeah.
That was too easy, I'm sorry.
At least I can see her and watch him die. I'm a pacifist, but I want to. You know, you might need.
Alright, fine. Give me some endorphins and let the mosquitoes take it.
Passive aggressive.
That was a mosquito.
The green chili is something we bring from Colorado. Everybody we don't see it around the park.
I'm Christy. Diane's cousin. Yeah, no, I know Diana from way back. Against her husband. No, I think it's been better than 20 years.
Yeah, the work today. Oh, wow. Oh, they sold
Set and forget it, I always say.
No, get some mint. There's mint and crushed onion. Mint, lemon, mint and lemon balm.
I want it.
Mint and crackers.
How about?
You want some more blood? Yeah.
At least a couple. I can rub it in your hands.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
I know, I don't spray my
Put a couple on.
Oh, right back. Yeah, I do that.
We're out traveling, and you get them on the road. 580.
Oh, French ladies in your bonnet.
I just so recently got the mint.
Mark won't be mad.
What kind is it? What kind is it? No. Oh, I think it's
Smell the lemon balm up there?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's nice right now.
crush it like.
That's how it was in
I don't want to because I can't.
You never know where you're going. Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. What am I doing?
But I want to.
Yeah.
May I have a heater?
Before you do anything, wherever you want.
And then we're supposed to adjust it.
Was this
Hello.
on your hand?
Want some? I am covered in chemicals.
Oh, you did?
I did. Like we're all natural, so I can type my mosquitoes. All on, full on chemical dip.
There's not a lot of
Oh yeah.
Weird how it works. They don't like strong smell.
Why they like me? Kind of teasing.
Mark, where'd you put that? Where'd you put this stuff on?
I just do this. Experiment.
He's the one
In the high pressure shower.
out of my bed.
The fire hose. You know the secret to that, don't you? Drill out the back. Shower head helps them with the low flow.
Yeah, I laid in my hammock.
It's just a little plastic washer. It has some little holes. And drill it out, it's wide open. Water in the pot. 2 seconds, little touch, and you got all the pressure you want.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll get it.
He's trying to clean it in his,
Where is it?
yeah, I had to move, they were starting to.
Mark, your chili is hot.
Yeah?
It hurt my tummy, I couldn't eat it.
Really? They were just the poblano's from the garden.
Yeah, they were feeling. I brought 5 or 6.
Oh, I call that toxic sauce. It's toxic. My daughter loves that sauce.
Wow.
I want to be in that session.
Oh my God. It's okay. Nice to meet you.
Really good. You want a recipe? Does Bonnie give out a recipe for lasagna?
Yeah, I'm sure she has a card or something somewhere.
That was good.
Oh, yeah. I think your soup was better.
Yeah? Might have been hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took one bite. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. I was like, oh, guys.
And it's fun with the fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, we haven't been like this all summer.
I picked him up by accident.
Good for you.
I picked him up by accident.
Evidently, it wasn't an accident. That's great.
Oh my God.
You kept him safe.
I picked him up by accident with the other bag. I went back to the car and I didn't take him. And I went back and I thought, that's her handwriting, that's not mine. Oh my God. I took him by accident.
You know what?
That's what tobacco seed looks like?
Yes. Thank you so much for keeping him safe. I don't know what you kept him safe from, but evidently something.
This is special.
Because I have your handwriting and I have like 3 or 4 of these in my other sack. And I must have took them together to the car.
And it's so easy to do.
Oh my God, I thought, I'm going to go to the car and just double check to make sure I didn't pick that handwriting up in that bag. So remember seeing them.
I believe you. That's what I believe.
Because I don't do things like that.
Of course not. Unless you're supposed to. Unless you're
Oh, so you're gonna have to read that one? Yeah. Yeah, those ones she gave me the original.
Okay.
Yeah, I was quite into that.
I thought, oh my God, I just told her I didn't take him. I'm going to double check. Because I had it with your handwriting and I knew exactly what you were looking for.
And there's the instructions.
Yep, and I picked it up when I took that little package. Oh my God.
Susan planned like some seasons got 0. Seven seasons. Ended up with 10 years.
Did you put it in your mouth?
So that's, did she put it in hers? I don't know. She knows to do that, but I don't protect your property.
Because I went to the contract, you know?
There was 4 days to
That's fast.
Yep. Cool. Wow. And they never got real big. There's still one there, which we can actually pull.
Ceremonial, huh?
Yeah. It's still kind of green and look like it's still alive. So I'll leave it for the care.
You guys. I know.
Yeah, I'm curious what she's going to say. Yeah. The conversation?
That? She had lost her seed tomorrow.
Oh no.
All right, she found it.
Where's she?
Who was it? Who found it? Lou had it. No, my cup. Oh, we're talking about 2 different things.
Don't care about your seat. Where's my cup?
Yeah, we don't care about your cup.
What does your cup look like?
Right.
Just looking here, silver thing on the black top on it.
Dennis's is in there. I can't find mine. Mine is kind of a brownish color on the bottom. I'll go look again. I might have put it in there. We found.
Now, Joel, this is not bad, but it hasn't happened this way. Where's the plate?
Here, just over here.
No. I'll empty my app, and then I'll put it in. Okay.
I did it. They arrived safely.
Speaking of, sunset from the beach. Yeah, that's hot.
That was a very good supper.
Perfect.
Really good supper.
There's only variety, pretty much tried out that one. Yeah, it was, yes, and that, as long as I'm not cranking on it, it takes me like a tractor pulling it. Yeah, it's up on the mountain, like to feed another 12 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you see it, it has a handle on it, like brownish colored.
Like Gavin's 20-year-old like to be.
Yeah, it is our big challenge because I like to test things, and before you know it, I'll have 3 pots of beans in the fridge. And Joel says, "Okay, try something else because we won't be able to get through all those beans." Fortunately, they can compost.
Got a good nose for it, though.
This one I didn't get
Oh, that's good.
put in there. Oops. And it has a reflector.
Are you putting all these back in your truck or something?
No,
now?
I'm gonna let Susan keep them. I'm heading to Colorado.
Right, that's what you said.
Yeah, about a half an hour. But the ones I brought, just gonna leave them here for Susan and Mark and tomorrow's group, whoever wants to use them. And then I'll be back on the 10th to pick them up. And I'm leaving one of the hands with Susan for them to do whatever they want. It's a little appreciation for them letting me come by.
How
and
much
intrude.
does something like this one cost?
A set with the pot that comes with it, which is this one with the glass lid, and it's kind of a stew pot, $149. And it's like $99 just for the reflector with the stuff without the pot.
Okay.
It's basically windshield reflector material. And he says, I've thought about Roger Haynes, who invented it, he said, I thought about charging more, but I get more than enough overage that I can use to support efforts in Africa where they're taking the material and making the cookers there, and where they're deforesting and they got bad drinking water, and this is a solution. So, yeah. Oops. I just sprayed the off, and it's...
Have you gone to Shark Tank? Shark Tank?
No, but a solar cooker person named Caitlin Powers went on Shark Tank with her company was called Soul Source. They had a parabolic cooker, and she was making a new one that she was making some claims where it was going to have like solar panels built into the reflectors, which is a theoretical possibility. And Mark Cuban, one of the tank guys, one of the sharks, said, I just want to know one question. Will this put Elon Musk out of business? And where Elon Musk got into solar cooking, I don't know. Maybe it was the solar power. And she said, oh yeah. And they sealed the deal. 3 months later, it collapsed because I think he found out that, well, no, you really, what she had wasn't ready, and the cooker itself was on the World Network of Facebook solar cooking people. They said, the one problem, it's a really powerful parabolic, but the focal point where the pot goes is so narrow. One guy put a cast iron pot and it was glowing red where it was. Because it'll get that hot, 1,000 degrees in the focal point. If the pot would have been set about 1.25 inches lower, it would have spread out enough where it could have fried and not cause that problem. So, yeah, they're all over, but they're not. The spray is keeping them off. So.